Hey, good morning, Kathy and Jay, Jenny, and Chris. I am, well, actually, Jenny, I think that you're the only one that has seen my videos before. For about a little under a year now, I've been sending videos when people serve so that they can get full understanding of what we're doing. They could hear how I am expressing, like how we show up, versus just reading an email. A lot of things have changed over the last year. I just made a year a couple of days ago. Things that we are trying to implement. Obviously, sorry, I keep looking outside because people are coming into work. But things that we're trying to do to make things a smoother process, a cleaner process, a servant like mindset. Of course, that had to kind of take a slight pause just because of the fact that I'm running 6 states, working 3 people's jobs, and trying to run about 5 to 7 events a month. That hasn't, I'm going to mute my computer as well. That hasn't been the case just because the capacity and the bandwidth isn't really there. But with all that said, your service to the ministry is really important. Disregard my less enthusiastic appearance. I've been up since 1:30 and the sleep just hasn't really been present the last few days. So I'm just a little lower in energy. But obviously I know how to turn it on when it comes to being at events. So I'll have it turned way up tomorrow. And then for Sunday for the other event in Chicago. So let me just kind of get to the details. I'll give you information about tomorrow, and then I'll give you information also about what it looks like to serve if you haven't served in a while. So let me kind of just dive into that. The most important part is just showing up, being friendly, loving on people. You don't have to have all the answers. I will be there and present if anyone has any questions. Sometimes they have questions about the ministry. Sometimes they have questions about our signals. Sometimes they have questions about what we do. We have things on our booth to just create talking points. So those are our listen up cards. That gives people a place to be able to find us on the dial. If they flip it over, they can find out how to follow us on Instagram or join our text club. Those things are vitally important to my team in our ministry. That's how we kind of gather, like how people are connecting with us and listening to us when they're outside of their car. So when we ask people to join our text club, or when we ask people to follow us on Instagram, those actually are tied to my numeric goals each month. So Instagram, if they don't have Instagram, that's okay. You could always say, that's okay. Like maybe a friend or a son has Instagram. Feel free to let them know about it. They can find us at KLove Chicago. That's one word. And then our text club. Our text club allows people to win tickets. We don't do anything with the information. If they click that box at the end of the form that says, let me learn more, then that's the only time we will contact them. But if they're just entering in for a contest, it literally just enters them in for the contest and it goes into a black hole. We don't follow up with that information. We literally like to say no strings attached. It's just an opportunity for us to say thank you for listening or checking us out, and also win something fun. And some of the things that they win are concert tickets. Sometimes they win tickets to, like, let's just say the Chicago Kids Expo. These are faith-based and non-faith-based events. We've had tickets to the Bulls a couple of months ago. We had tickets to the Windy City Bulls. We had tickets to the Hancock Run, which is on Sunday. We have tickets to all of the partners that we're trying to build relationships with. So this is an opportunity for either Christians or non-Christians to win things. Kind of going in that same vein, our listeners are like 60% to 40%. Well, let me say it this way. 40% of our listeners will consider themselves non-church goers or Christians. So a lot of times families like to listen to our station because we are commercial free, because we provide opportunities for people to learn and know about what's going on in the community. And they don't have to worry about like what is being played in the car while there's kids. And so part of our demo is families and active young parents, and that's why we attend certain events. That's why our branding on things have a certain color and also certain imagery. So that's a little bit about who we are. They can find us at 97.9. That's our main power signal. If they ever want to learn about how to find us in different states or different parts of Illinois, they can just text the word signal to 21947, and they can get a list of where to find us all across the dial. Also, when you're talking with people, just to have friendly conversation. Hey, are you a listener? Are you familiar with who we are? How long have you been listening? Are great questions. And I'll kind of get into that when we talk about engagement in our contesting. You'll wear closed-toed shoes. You'll wear your K-Love shirt. If you don't have a K-Love shirt, text me back and let me know. We are limited on shirts right now. I've already spoken with our training director. She's in the process of getting some new branded shirts for this year, so there's a slight delay. But it's going to be that black shirt with that cyan lettering that says K-Love or Positive Encouraging K-Love. And you'll wear, if you're cold, wear a long sleeve shirt underneath. No jackets because you won't be able to see what you guys are wearing. And then you'll have your lanyard. Your lanyard, if you haven't served in a while, I have a 4-tiered bin. It'll be behind the booth or under the table possibly. And it's in the 4-tiered bin. At the bottom tier, it has your lanyard. For Jay and Kathy, I'll grab that out for you guys when you guys arrive. You'll also have an exhibitor badge that you'll have to wear. And we'll make sure that you have that when you arrive as well. In regards to where you will go and what entrance, I will text that to you and send you a snapshot of a map. I'm going to be dropping off and setting up equipment today for both the expo and for the event on Sunday. So I will have a better understanding of like the orientation once I get there today so that I can better explain to you either by a video or via text later today. We are exhibit booth 201, and that is right by the main entrance. So right when people enter in, our booth is going to be right there. It's across the way from the coat check, which I don't know if I can flip this. Let's see. I can't flip it, but this is the, I'll send a snapshot of it, but that's going to be where our booth is, main entrance, right across from coat check. So, it should be easy to find us. You know what our booth looks like. Jay and Kathy, the event starts at 10. I have to be there from around 8 to 9 o'clock. I ask that you arrive at 9:30, the latest. And 9:30 means like you guys are walking in the doors. Timeliness is important, especially as a one-man office, but it's just important to me in general. So thank you so much for showing up on time in advance. I thank you for that. Jenny and Chris, the same. You guys are going to be relieving them at 1 o'clock. So from 1 to 4, you guys will be there. And we can get fined if we start to break down any earlier than 4 o'clock. So we will be staying until 4 o'clock for this event. You guys will be relieving each other. If indeed you guys have to like go to the bathroom, make sure you just let the person you're serving with know, and then also make sure that I know as well so that there's no confusion of what's going on and things like that. I, being a person that's wearing multiple hats, literally, I wear multiple hats all the time, but throughout the day, I have a responsibility of doing different things. So one of the things that I will be doing is taking photos. I will also be connecting with other people in regards to different opportunities for different events in the future, maybe new partnerships. And then one of the things that I will be doing is delegating just different responsibilities for you guys. So the different things that I will have you guys doing is engaging and contesting. Engaging is what brings people to the booth. Contesting is what is tied to my internal goals. Now, engagement is oftentimes like people looking at the booth, like trying to figure out who we are. They see the 97.9, then they find out that we're a radio station. And that's an opportunity to just be like, hey, how are you? How's your day? And then that kind of draws them in, especially because these secular events, people tend to be a little bit leery of like, what are you trying to sell me? So how you speak, your body language is really important. Going back to some of those booth rules, that's not Diane's thing. These are SOPs, and we have a director and a VP that monitors everything that we do, from our pictures and how they've received feedback. So there's no water or coffee on top of the table. It's always going to be under the booth or behind the booth. When you're drinking, please do not be visible. Cell phones, if you have to take a call or text, please, again, do not be visible, because when people see you in branded clothes, they don't know if you're an employee or a volunteer. They just know that you're not paying attention to them. So engagement is really important. How you draw them in. Maybe it's with the kids. Jenny, thank you so much. You've been serving so much over the last few months. You do a great job at this and engaging with kids and talking with parents. And while the kids are playing, you know just how to talk to them normally, but then also draw them into the contesting. So the engagement piece is the Connect Four game. It's a giant Connect Four, and kids are just going to see it and play with it. Or you might just say, hey, you want to play Connect Four? Like, just a fun opportunity to play. We'll also have just these three-tiered buckets. I don't know exactly where we'll place them, because I don't know exactly where and how much space we're going to have. But we have these buckets where kids can just play and throw beanbags, which reminds me, one of them were lost. So I'm going to have to see if I can go grab an extra set somewhere. But yeah, to that point, making sure that kids don't walk off with our toys or games, because again, that's our donor dollars that we use money for, or we use to purchase these games. We'll have a thing of suckers in a jar. Obviously, just like Costco, if kids are grabbing for candy, just make sure the parents know, or that they are approving of sugar going into these kids' bodies. And then, again, part of the engagement with the adults while the kids are playing or grabbing a sucker is just saying, hey, are you familiar with K-Love? And they might say, yeah. And if they say, yeah, then you could just say, oh, how long have you been listening? And they might say, oh, just a couple of weeks ago, or a month ago, or 10 years ago, or I don't know. And that's an opportunity to just thank them for being listeners, that we couldn't do what we do without them listening and supporting our station and our ministry. If they say, no, I'm not familiar with, and to that, if someone says, yeah, I've been listening for a while, always feel free to go grab one of the window decals that are going to be on the booth. We'll have more replenished in the 4-tier bin. But grab them the decals. Say, hey, I always like to say, here's one for you or two for you in your 2 cars. And then here's an opportunity to give one to someone that may be someone you're witnessing to, or that you want to encourage to listen. And so that's a great way to connect with our listeners that are at these events. And there's always a great deal of listeners at these secular events. When it comes to someone that says, no, I don't know K-Love, well, that's when you could just say, hey, we're a contemporary Christian radio station. We play positive, encouraging music. It's commercial free. It's great and family friendly for kids. You never have to worry about what's being played while the kids are in the car. And you can find us across the whole country. We're a nationally syndicated radio station. So what you hear in Texas, you'll hear in Chicago, you hear in Wisconsin. We've got over 600 signals all across the state. And then you can put a listen up card in their hand and just invite them to listen. It's as simple as that. If anyone ever asks you to pray with them or anything like that, or you're discerning of that, you can do that. It's not as common at secular events, but it is something that we do, and it's something that we want to be mindful of even at secular events. Specifically, another thing, I'll have a clipboard for people to serve. I'm really trying to build up the serving base. Again, it is not volunteering. I can't do this alone. It's part of one of the hardest things that I've probably experienced over the last few months. So I want to really grow that. And once I get a new teammate, which is coming soon, I want to have a volunteer, maybe orientation, serving opportunity, maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks, just because I really need to grow that so that we have, more people to be able to serve at the events that we're going to be at. So there's a clipboard. If someone's interested in serving, just go ahead and jot their information down and provide that to them. In regards to additional tickets, so there was an issue with them sending our tickets. They literally came on yesterday, so they had to send us electronic tickets, so that I can let our winners know. Some of our winners that may come to the booth are Lauren and Vivian, Liz, Julio, Christine, Kathy. You don't need to recognize their names. You don't need to remember their names, but there are a handful of people that will be attending on behalf of us, or because of us. This video is getting long, so I need to hurry up. But we have some additional tickets. So it's one ticket is good for one adult and one child. The event goes through Sunday, 10 to 4, both days. So if you feel the need or have a conversation and say, hey, we have an additional ticket for you, maybe and a family member, don't give them 15 and 20. We only have 40, so we're limited. So 20 per shift, essentially, is what we have. And again, while parents are just standing around watching kids play or engaging, you can let them know that we have an opportunity for them to win Windy City Bulls tickets. So that's here in Hoffman Estates. Windy City Bulls is the G League to the Chicago Bulls. This is where they kind of train themselves up to be the Chicago Bulls. And those Windy City Bulls, I'm just really tired. Sorry, guys. Those Windy City Bulls vouchers / tickets are good for any game, and the season ends March 25th. So they've got plenty of time to use it. And how they enter is at the iPad, or they can text the word kids to 21947. Again, that's KIDS, and in the number field, they will type 21947. Once they send kids, they'll receive a link back. The same form that's on the iPad is the same form that's going to come through text. They just fill that out. Again, that information we do not use. It's only used to contact them if they've won. And phone number is optional. Again, we just use phone number because it's a lot easier to contact them via text. So we just text them through our system and our platform that we use. That's all, guys. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I will send you guys information around where to enter in. Parking is $7 based on the information that was given to me. And typically, we like to try to get parking, and that's part of my proposals that I draft up. Sometimes we can't get parking for you guys. When I do, I can. When I can't, I just pray that the Lord blesses you guys to be able to take care of that $7 for the day. If not, I'll put it on my personal debit card if you guys need. Just let me know. All right, guys, that's it. Once you receive this message, please let me know that you reviewed everything, and I look forward to serving with you guys tomorrow.